Here's the skinny on living in Rochester, New York. I'm going to give you 7 reasons why living in Rochester, New York is hard. It may not be what you think. Stay tuned. Hello friends, welcome back to the Sherry Birrer Homes channel. Let's get into it. Thinking about living in Rochester, New York? Here's my list of 7 reasons why living in Rochester, New York is hard. Be sure to stick around for reason number 1. It's a real chilly one. Reason number 7, Italian food. Rochester, New York has a Little Italy historic district, so you can imagine we have lots of Italian restaurants here. Who doesn't like Italian food? Now, I don't really understand why you wouldn't like Italian food. Who doesn't like pasta, meatballs, marinara sauce, Parmesan cheese, and homemade breads? Now, I love pasta. However, if you're into a low carbohydrate way of life, then pizza, pasta, and homemade breads may not be your choice of food. The thin crust, fire roasted pizzas are to die for. Man, are they good. All different types of pizzas. We have amazing homemade pasta. And one of the Italian restaurants, Rizzo's, has this delicious homemade bolognese sauce. Delicioso. It's served on any type of pasta noodle you'd like. Angel hair, fettuccine, rigatoni, shells, you name it. Not only do they specialize in pasta dishes, their homemade breads are divine. My favorite, and what I love most, is to dip my bread in olive oil mixed with Italian spices. So good, I've been known to fill up on bread before the main entree arrives. Now tell me who hasn't done that before. We've all got all types of Italian restaurants. And if you're one of those people who follows a low carbohydrate diet, eating at one of the many Italian restaurants here in Rochester, New York probably is not for you. Sorry, but don't feel bad. There's many other types of restaurants as well. I love pasta, but to be honest, I don't eat as much pasta and bread as I would like these days. Me, I'm a protein girl, probably because the exercise I enjoy is weightlifting. What can I say? I like to build muscle. Well, we all do what's best for ourselves, right? Reason number 6. If you want a huge, real international airport with direct international flights out of the country and as a train from one terminal to another, you're not gonna like the Rochester, New York airport. You just won't. We have one terminal, 2 concourses and 22 gates and no direct international flights. There might be one benefit to a small airport though. When I show up to the Frederick Douglass Rochester, New York International Airport, gosh, that's a mouthful. There's more than 25 people in line for security. I'm thinking, oh my God, there's a big long line. I should have gotten here earlier. I have to say that the longest it's taken for security checkpoints is probably no more than 10 to 15 minutes. Now I do like that. Our Rochester, New York airport is kind of awesome because there are rarely any lines. It's a smaller airport for sure. You might consider it to be great or you might not. But if you want a direct international flight out of the country, you're going to have to fly out of JFK, O'Hare, LAX, Miami, or Washington. So if you are used to flying out of a real international airport and want direct international flights available to you, then I'm thinking the Rochester, New York airport is not good for you or your travel needs. Reason number 5, it's humid here in the summer. All you ladies out there, and maybe men, if you have a love affair with perfect straight hair and you flat iron your curls away, I don't have any, but, or you love having big hair, that's kind of me more, and use volumizing products and hairspray to get your great big head of hair, well peeps, I'm telling you, put that flat iron away and give up on those volumizing products. It gets so humid here in the summertime, there's no point. You can blow dry your hair and get the volume in your hair, or use a flat iron to get your hair as straight as a pin. The minute you walk outside with 90% humidity, man, it is hot, your hair will be as flat as a pancake. And I can say that because that's what happens to me and my hair. I feel like I look like a wet dog. Or if you flat ironed your straight hair, it will get so frizzy, you look like Rosanna Dana. And I can say that because that's what happens to my girlfriend's hair. And she complains about it all the time. I have to say though, I have some suggestions. Cut your hair short, or get used to putting your hair up in a ponytail, or get used to wearing a summer hat everywhere. I got one right here. May not be summer right here now in Rochester, but you know, Baltimore Royals here. My dad used to play for. All right, let's put that away. I also have it up in a barrette most of the time too. Reason number 4, Rochester, New York's summer rainstorms. Let me tell you a little bit about them and explain to you a little bit about the rain in Rochester, New York. There is no such thing as a light sprinkling of rain, especially in the summertime. It's either dry as a bone or it is pouring and thunderstorming. And when it starts to rain, here it feels like it never stops. There are times when I'm driving and it's raining so hard, I have to pull over on the side of the road because I can't see a thing. And of course, I turn on my hazard lights right away. And I have to say it's kind of scary because I sit there praying no one rear ends me because they can't see either. The good thing is it's probably only lasts for about 5 to 10 minutes and then I'm on my way. In Rochester, New York, the rain falls for 172.4 days and starts in April and lasts until the end of September, which is about 180 days. It rains a lot here. Then the cold, dark, damp days start. Here's another thought though. If you like to listen to thunderstorms or rainfall on a summer day, this is your place. One of my favorite things to do, especially during the weekend thunderstorm, is to get comfy underneath my gazebo that my kids bought for me. Grab a cup of coffee, grab my favorite book I'm reading and snuggle in and read to my heart's content. I've been known to finish a book or two, or I've been found napping during one of Rochester, New York's summertime thunderstorms. Before I get to reason number 3, if you're interested in information on tips to sell your home in less time and for more money, there's a link in the description below to a free guide on do-it-yourself things to get your home ready to sell. Check it out later. Let's move on. Ooh, we're getting to the finish line. Reason number 3, Rochester has high property taxes. There are no two ways around this. In 2022, New York State comes in second for having the highest property tax in the United States. The property tax rate in Rochester, New York varies depending upon what county you live in. The tax rate from town to town and county to county. Pittsford and Mendon are of the most affluent towns to live in Monroe County and are amongst the highest in property taxes. Henrietta and Fairport amongst the lowest. You know though, I've lived half my life in Buffalo, New York, and half my life in Rochester, New York. And one thing that makes living in upstate New York doable for me is having peace of mind. And what do I mean by that? There's no natural disasters, no hurricanes, no tornadoes, no wildfires. And to me, having a peace of mind knowing I'm not going to lose everything in a natural disaster in an instant, it's worth it to me. I'd rather live in an older home or a smaller home or have this peace of mind. I know it's not for everyone. And some would say, I don't care. I'll take my chances again. Reason number 2, Rochester, New York has old houses and antique architecture. In downtown Rochester, many of the homes and the commercial buildings are original, dating back a century or more. There's the downtown Park Avenue area, which is filled with nightlife, which is parallel to East Avenue. East Avenue has many old mansions up and down the street. Many of them have been renovated, maintaining the architecture from the early 1900s. And some have been turned into businesses or apartments. I lived on East Avenue the first year I moved into Rochester, 33 years ago. Oh my, it was fun though. I had a good time there. That was before I got married and had 4 children. The village of Pittsford was settled in 1789 because of Erie Canal and access to water. There's historic Shone Place in the village of Pittsford with construction from as early as 1824. Many of the homes in the village are over 120 years old or more. And I live in a home that was built in 1902, and I really, really love it. If you don't like eclectic older architecture though, you probably won't like living in Rochester, New York. Do you know what's funny about this? I never liked anything old. Since I've been divorced and moved into the village, I've come to respect and enjoy older things, gently used things. The home I live in has a stone foundation. It even has an old fruit cellar. There is so much character and quaintness about an older home I've come to adore and appreciate. I know that old homes are not for everyone. If you prefer a newly built home, there is still some new builds going up. However, if older homes and antique architecture aren't what you like, then you might not like the vibe you feel in Rochester, New York. And you wouldn't be the place that you would enjoy living in. Now that I think about it, maybe I shouldn't have added this because it doesn't make it hard living here. It's a preference and a quaint vibe. Drum roll, please. Reason number 1, the chilly reason, you probably guessed it. What makes living in Rochester, New York hard is the winters. If you like sunny, warm days every day, and that is a must in the place where you live, then don't live here. Rochester's winters are freezing, snowy, windy, and mostly cloudy and very long. I think it's safe to say that when someone says they're moving out of Rochester, it's because of the snowy, cold winters. They just can't take it anymore. They've had enough. They're done with coats, hats, boots, dirt, and dark days. It usually starts to get cold here in mid-October, and it's cold until the end of March, early April. You know, we've even gotten snow as late as May. We get lake effect snow, and you never know when you're going to get a snow dump, a really big snowstorm. Buffalo, New York has gotten 3 major snowstorms. Thank goodness they missed Rochester. Buffalo also gets lake effect snow. Buffalo, New York is my hometown. It's an hour west of Rochester, New York. Since we are talking about winter snowstorms, I have a story. I'll tell it quick, okay, real quick. I've never forgot the blizzard of 1977. Whilst living in Buffalo as a youngster with my parents and mom and dad, we got so much snow in the blizzard of 77, my family was snowed in the house for a week. Thank goodness we had provisions. It snowed and snowed and snowed. The snow in front of our house was so deep that when we opened the second floor window, we could touch the snow. We lived on a corner lot, and from the front of door to the stop sign at the corner of the street, the snow was as tall or taller than the stop sign. There was so much snow. A large crane with a bucket on the end had to come and dig us out. Talk about a lot of snow. That's a ton of snow. However, I remember as a kid, it was great. My sisters and brothers were like, yahoo, yay, snow days, which meant no school. That time, it was a week-long snow break. It was great. Let's recap. If you don't like freezing, windy, dark, snowy, and very long winters, and are thinking about living here, I think it's safe to say that Rochester, New York is definitely not the place for you. So, That's the skinny on living in Rochester, New York. The 7 reasons living in Rochester, New York is hard. Don't miss my next video, Rochester, New York. You'll hate it here. Check it out. There are more things that bug me about Rochester, New York.